Welcome again to Move Like Water Collective. You're engaging now in a hip mobility routine that is designed to be short and sweet, but give you some options if you are happening to sit in chairs a lot through your day, or find that you experience a fair bit of tension within the psoas muscle, within the glutes, and of course reflecting into the lower back. I really recommend looking into the fascia and joint flow course to help unlock some of the adhesions that form in our hip joint and our lower back due to the types of practices we do these days, as in sitting in chairs for an extended period of time, holding our devices, and of course wearing shoes. Our hip is a ball and socket joint and it's meant to move. So I'm going to be sharing with you a floor-based routine that is a really nice way to add in some really nice hip mobility anytime throughout your day, so long as you have a floor. So we are just going to start off with some rotations of the joint. If you can't pop your foot on the outside of your quad, you're very welcome to start in this position. In fact, I'll just start here now. And all we're trying to do is just getting the knees to fall side to side. So just a very, very gentle and simple internal and external rotation. There's a few ways to do this routine. You're more than welcome to do this as a kind of follow along practice, or you can take segments out of this, which I probably recommend, just to throw it in your day, like set an alarm on your phone. If you're having to sit more than 8 hours a day, you want to actually set an alarm on your phone to get you up and moving for about a couple of minutes for every hour that you're sitting. Now, if this is feeling good, you're just going to swivel your hips and add in a fold. So as you're moving through this routine, just nice and slowly, again, getting a feel and a sensation for your hips. And as you move, just allowing the body to fold. Now, you're very welcome to start to take your hands off. And as you fold, we're starting to get a little bit of a stretch into the glutes and also into the piriformis. Now this alone always feels quite nice, but if you would like to add on a little bit more, what we're going to think about doing is rocking through the hips and then opening up into the hip flexors here. Now being really mindful with this one, this gets really tight when we sit in chairs. Again, our psoas muscle pulls inwards, the fascia starts to calcify, or we get a build-up of collagen, and therefore we start to get this hinging motion because we sit in chairs and all of these muscles also start to shorten. So whenever you're moving through these movements, just be aware, again, of like the state of your body, how it's feeling. Don't rush it. We want to move to this open position, but again, of course, there's no rush to do that. So we're looking at pressing down through the shins, opening up the quads and the hip flexors, and then controlling the movement coming through protraction to come back down to our 90-90 hip swivel. So up really nice and slow and then back down. And we'll go through another 4 of these. So if you are doing this one, again, I'm choosing to go for about a minute on each side and each movement. But you can, of course, pause the video, go for a little bit longer, as I said, or segment this video out and take bits and pieces as you need. All right, beautiful guys. We are going to come back down and come to a kneeling position. Now, this is really optional of how you do this as well. If you'd like to start from this position, you're more than welcome. I'm going to start down into my heels, and as we're working into this one, I'm going to sort of change and face this direction. I'm going to open up through the hip flexors, right? So again, this might be where you start. You might just be doing a few of these just to start. So press into the shins. Find the opening into the hip flexors. Now you might be just staying here. This might be more than enough to start to get that hinging motion happening in the hips. If it does feel okay, we're going to lift up and we're going to open the left leg out to the left and drop the bum over the heel. I'm about 45 degrees here with my left, and then bring it back in and back down. Do the same with the right. Steps open, drop the bum over the heel, and then come back up. All right, so as we're working through here, again, you'll see that I slightly come into an external rotation, drop the bum down over the heel, coming back down, neutral position, and here. So lift up, lift out, drop the bum down, internal rotation, back to neutral, and back down. We'll go 4 more. So as you're working through this, we're actually also starting to get into our ankle joint. Now the knee is a hinge joint, so it's important that the knee and ankles are aligned. A bit more on that in the foot work that I do have for you guys. So you're just working on not only opening your hips here, but also opening your ankles and creating some space. Also remembering that any of this can be completely modifiable, right? We don't have to go down to the heels, and you're just working with your ankle mobility and your hip mobility as you're moving through any of these movements. All right, our next one that we're going to work through our hip mobility is coming to a 90-90 position, and we're looking to keep the torso as upright as possible, right? So you can use blocks, place your hands onto the ground to up and elevate out of the spine here. What we're working with is the back leg here, and we're thinking of keeping this front shin down into the ground, pressing the knee, shin, and ankle down into the ground. And we're looking to just lift that opposite hip and knee off the ground. Now, as we're working into this one, it can be a little bit challenging into this one. So doing your best to work through up to 10 reps each side, doing your best not to let the body rock too much, and just controlling that movement of abduction towards the rib cage, of lifting that femur bone up and in. And we'll change sides and give it a try on the other side. So as we're working into this space, again, we're pressing down with that front shin, and again, finding space where we can look at keeping the torso relatively still. It's going to move a little bit here, and just controlling that lift up and down. Again, just abducting into the joint here, lifting up towards the rib cage, and then back down. So again, we're looking for about 10 reps or so each side. And if that's feeling good, we can then have a play around with lifting up and then bringing the leg in and then down. And you can alternate these two movements and play side to side, right? So just working on getting that first movement right first, and then adding in this little hip mobility flow here, where we control the movement in our hips, lift up, internally rotate, external rotation, and back. And once again, we're aiming for about 10 repetitions in total here, which is a really nice complement if you happen to be sitting in those chairs a fair bit and find that tightness and adhesions that tend to develop into the psoas, the hip flexor, and of course into the glutes. We'll go one more each side here. All right, beautiful. Our next one, we are going to come onto all fours, and we're going to work through our controlled articular rotations here. So what we're looking for is to press the scapula apart. All right, so really not trying to collapse or come forward into the shoulders here. We come forward enough with how much we're on our devices. So what we're thinking about doing is in a protracted position here, right? We should be able to move out our scapulas really well. Now that's another video, but it's about coming into a protracted tabletop position, wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. All right, and what I'm going to do in this position, I'm going to float that right knee off, and so slowly, I'm going to bring that right knee towards my right wrist, and I'm going to open the right hip out to the right. Now, it's sort of making sure like I have something on my sacrum and it's not going to fall off. I'm going to rotate around and kick up to the ceiling, pulling that pubic bone in the whole time, and then drawing that right knee back into the right wrist. So we're going to externally rotate through the hip joint, keep the sacrum flat, kick the heel up towards the sky, and then bringing that knee back in. Now, I'm going to recommend going through 5 of these on the right, and I would really work up to that. They can be quite a challenging movement here. So again, I've just done 3. If you'd like to add on another 2, feel free to go for it. And then we're going to go back the other way. We're going to kick the heel up, keep the sacrum flat, internal hip rotation nice and slow, all the way towards the wrist. So kicking that heel up, internal hip rotation all the way towards the wrist, and then one more time. And it's this really nice slow movement that we're after to try to get that synovial fluid through the hip joint. Before we change sides, just let the body do some rippling and rolling. This will be our last one for the hip mobility routine. So a couple of really nice movements just to get you started on freeing up those hips and loosening those adhesions. So let's move to the opposite side now. So I'll just face this way so you can see what my hip's doing. Again, we're working the left leg this time. So joints are stacked, tabletop. So you want to pull the pubic bone towards the sternum. And then we're going to float that left knee off, bringing it in. And then we open the hip out to the left. Keep the sacrum flat, so making sure we're not doing this with our spine. Kick the heel up, squeeze the hamstrings, and then bring it back in towards the left wrist. External hip rotation, nice and slow, like you're moving through quicksand. Kick the heel up and slowly drawing that in. Just one more. As I said, if you'd like to go for more, please feel free. You can also access this movement standing in the standing joint routine that I have shared in this series as well. We're now reversing the movement, maintain a protracted position through the shoulders the whole time. So really looking after the lower back, you are just working through that hip joint. It's quite a fair bit of work here, working up a little bit of a sweat here. Super slowly coming through and relax. Beautiful, guys. So we do go a little bit deeper into that in the fascia and joint release course, but they are some incredible movements to get you started to help freeing up some of that fascia that can lock up around the hip, the sacrum, and the lower back. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know, comment below, comment how it felt in your hips, or please feel free to reach out and ask about any of the courses, the workshops, or the immersions that we have on Move Like Water Collective, or just jump over and take a look on movelikewatercollective.com.au.